Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I'm here with Simon Says Stamp today and helping them with their new release of Blossoms and Butterflies. This is an absolutely gorgeous collection between the florals, things for mom, spring, and anything else you can think of. So what I'm actually going to be playing with is a stencil. And this stencil, it's a little bit different for me, at least, because it's just the floral image. It's not like a pattern or anything else. So I adhered that using my purple tape on the back side, and I'm grabbing my finger sponge dauber. And I know you've seen this technique before. There's so many on YouTube that have done this. And I honestly, this is the first time I'm going to try this. So grabbed my finger daubers. I figured they were small. I grabbed my spun sugar, warm lipstick, aged mahogany, shabby shutters, and peeled paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be specific with my ink sponging. I don't want to blend. I do want it to be blotchy, almost like a stencil, which I'm using a stencil, but if any of you have stencil painted, is what I mean. We usually pounce the color through the stencil with a special brush. That's kind of what I'm going for with these. So for each of the flowers, they're all going to be done the same. I'm going to start out with the spun sugar, and then I'm going to come in with either worn lipstick or aged mahogany, depending upon how dark I want that center. I'm also using my purple tape to go around the area that I'm coloring. So I want to make sure that I don't get any of the pinks and the reds in where I'm putting the greens and vice versa. So I am just using some strips, cutting them in half, or just tearing them off to cover up those areas so that I can be focused in the areas that I am coloring. You can see I'm literally going down and I'm doing a little twist motion just to get some of the color down. Some roses I'll make a little darker or lighter, again, just to give some variation. Now, what would really be pretty if you did this on, I forgot the name, watercolor paper. Yeah, that would be it. And do the same thing. And again, I've seen this before, but when you do that on watercolor paper and then you just go back in with a wet paintbrush, and the pretty colors that you can get, because you've already got two colors there. So they really mix and they stay within those areas. So I'm still just continuing around and I'm filling in my flowers, and I do want this to be dark because I am just working on a white panel. This is my white Nina cardstock, and it is going to be cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is going to kind of take up this whole area. Now at this point, I haven't decided if this was going to be a portrait or a landscape card. I just wanted to get some color down onto the panel, and then I wanted to make that determination because I knew this was going to be a Mother's Day card. That part I had an idea on. If you guys have seen my videos before, you know I change as I keep making a card, so I'll make adjustments and turns from left to right as I'm doing my videos. Because again, we get these ideas, we have a thought process in our head. As we're working on it, whoop, we're going to add something else, or we're going to change something, or we realize that it's just not working the way that we thought it was going to work. So that idea would have to go back to the drawing board, and we can go in this area or in this direction right now. So you can see with the two colors of greens, I did the same thing. I put the light color down first, and then just on one side I used the dark. So you can see you have a really pretty impression just by pouncing all of those colors in. And to be safe, I did work on my small craft mat from my glass mat. So I grabbed my Simon Says Mom die, and I'm going to die cut right through, yes, all of that work that we just did. And I'm also going to die cut on the foam, the fun foam that I have out. And I did this time. Usually I don't make sure that my fun foam matches because you really don't see it anyway. This time I made sure. So I did grab a red. So now that they're cut, making sure the correct M is in the correct location. And now I'm going to adhere the panel that I've cut and put those on top of the fun foam. This way I'm going to be able to get some dimension, and at the same time, if you're looking at this from an angle, you're going to see the red. So it's a little bit of an accent. Once they're all glued, I did make sure to not lose the center of the O from the cardstock side, because I want that to be down onto the card base. I am going to set an acrylic block on top of my letters just to make sure that they do adhere to the fun foam. I'm going to use the sentiment set by Simon Says Stamp called Messages for Every Day. It's one of those, not what I call micro tiny. This one's one of the tiny ones. So this is actually going to say, thanks for being there. I am going to use my white alabaster embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, and I'm going to heat set that. And then I will use the Simon Says Stamp banner dies, or at least I call them the banner dies. I forget. I know they have another name for the set, but they're the dies that help me cut straight when it comes to my sentiments. They're wonderful. So I've already cut that out, and again, I did that on black cardstock. I'm going to adhere my main panel right onto my standard A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is a top folding card. I'm making sure I'm putting liquid glue also in the areas that come up and down for the letters M to make sure that they stay flat down onto the card as well. I'm going to take each of my letters and just pop them into those areas just like you would a puzzle piece. And you can see that when I put them down onto the card base, you can slightly see that red fun foam, which I think adds a little bit to the dimension. I'm going to set the center O piece down onto the card base, and I will use my tool-in-one from Spellbinders to do that, to make sure that I get that secured in there. And then the final M. I will be putting that acrylic block down so that it will ensure that we get a good adhesion. I'm then going to set in place my sentiment strip, and that is going to go along the entire word of mom, or it's going to be 3/4 of it. I'm going to trim off the edge that hangs over. And then, of course, we've got to add some bling. We have to add some bling. So I have these mirrored hearts. I believe I got them from Honeybee. And there's all sizes. But they're really pretty. Beautiful silver. And I thought they would be perfect for the center of the flowers in different sizes. So I used the largest size for the last M and one of the smallest sizes for the first M, because that was a smaller flower. So I'm just gauging it to what size flower is where, and then that'll help me gauge which heart that I set in place. They're all going to be on an angle so that nothing looks the same. And that is our project for today. I do hope you enjoyed this. And again, the stencil is from the new release by Simon Says Stamp called Blossoms and Butterflies. If you're interested and want to see more of the collection, I will have the link below, along with links to all the other products that I did use for this project. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below as well, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to watch my video today. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so that you're able to tune in for my next. Here are a few other videos that I thought maybe you would like using Simon Says products. But I do hope everyone's having a great day. Just remember, take care, but remember what's most important. Remember, always be creative.